If you just moved to the United States, or you are a student here on a visa, and you are confused about what this credit score thing actually is, and why everyone keeps talking about it, this video is going to change everything for you, because I am going to explain the entire US credit system from scratch, in the simplest way possible, so that by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to do, what to avoid, and how to start building your financial life here the right way. So stay with me. This is important, really important. Let me start with something that shocked me when I first learned about it. You could move to America with $10,000 in your bank account, a university degree, a clean financial record from your home country, and still get rejected when you try to rent an apartment. Not because you are broke, not because you have bad credit, but because in the eyes of the American financial system, you simply do not exist yet. There is no record of you. No history, no score, nothing. This is what experts call being credit invisible. And the moment you land in the US, that is exactly what you are. And trust me, this is not a small problem. This invisibility can block you from renting a home, getting a phone plan, financing a car, or even getting a credit card in your own name. The system does not care where you came from or how responsible you were with money back home. If you have no US credit history, you start from zero. So what exactly is a credit score? Think of it like a report card for your financial behavior here in America. Just like in school, your grades told teachers how responsible and consistent you were as a student, your credit score tells banks and landlords and lenders how responsible you are with money. The score goes from 300 at the very bottom to 850 at the very top. The higher your score, the more people trust you with money. A score below 580 is considered poor. From 580 to 669 is fair. From 670 to 739 is good. From 740 to 799 is very good. And anything above 800 is excellent. Now here is a number you need to remember if you are looking to rent an apartment, and almost everyone starts here. Most landlords want to see a score of at least 670. Some will accept as low as 570 if you can show proof of income or pay a bigger security deposit. But if you have no score at all, many landlords will simply say no. That is how powerful this number is. Now let me tell you how this score is actually calculated, because once you understand the formula, you will know exactly what to do and what not to do. The biggest factor, and this is the one that can make or break you, is your payment history. This accounts for about 35% of your score. That means every single time you pay a bill on time, it helps you. And every single time you miss a payment or pay late, it hurts you badly. We are talking about an instant drop of 80 to 100 points from just one missed payment. And recovering from that damage can take months, sometimes over a year. So if there is one thing you remember from this entire video, let it be this: always pay on time, no matter what. The second biggest factor is something called your credit utilization ratio. This sounds complicated, but it is actually very simple. Imagine you have a credit card with a limit of $1,000. If you spend $900 of that, your utilization is 90%, which is terrible for your score. The golden rule is to never use more than 30% of your available credit limit. So on that same $1,000 card, try to keep your spending under $300 at any given time. Under 10% is even better if you want a really high score. After that, the other factors include how long you have had credit accounts open, the mix of different types of credit you have, and how many times you have recently applied for new credit. Each of these matters, but the first two, payment history and utilization, are where you should focus the most energy, especially in the beginning. Now let me talk about something that is brand new and is genuinely a game changer for immigrants and newcomers in 2025. Most people have never heard of this yet, so pay close attention. There are two main credit scoring systems in America. One is called FICO, the other is called VantageScore. Traditional FICO scores require you to have at least 6 months of credit history before they can even generate a score for you. 6 months. That is a long time to wait. But in July of 2025, a government housing agency called the Federal Housing Finance Agency officially approved the use of something called VantageScore 4.0 for mortgage loans. And here is why this matters so much for you. VantageScore 4.0 can generate a credit score with as little as just 1 month of credit history. 1 month instead of 6. That alone is huge. But it gets even better. VantageScore 4.0 also counts your rent payments and your utility bill payments in its scoring calculations. That means things you are already paying every month. Your rent, your electricity, your internet can now actually help build your credit score. This was not the case before. This is new. This is powerful. And if your landlord or utility company reports your payments, or if you sign up for a service that reports these payments on your behalf, you can start building credit almost immediately after arriving in the US. Now let me talk about something that stops a lot of immigrants before they even get started, and that is the question of documents. Most credit cards and bank accounts ask for a Social Security number, or SSN, and many newcomers simply do not have one yet, especially if they are on certain types of visas or are in the process of applying for legal status. But here's what most people do not know. You can apply for something called an Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, or ITIN. This is a tax ID number that the IRS issues to people who do not have an SSN, but still need to deal with the U.S. financial system. And the good news is that many financial institutions will accept an ITIN in place of an SSN. There are platforms specifically designed for immigrants and newcomers, like First Card, that accept your ITIN, your passport, or your visa as valid identification. Many credit unions across the country also accept ITINs. So if you do not have an SSN yet, do not wait and do nothing. Start with your ITIN. Start building your history now. But here is a very important warning that most people find out about too late. If you build your credit history using your ITIN, and then later you receive your SSN, your credit history does not automatically transfer. The system does not connect them on its own. You have to take action yourself. You need to contact all 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, in writing, and formally request that they merge your ITIN credit history with your new SSN. If you do not do this, all the hard work you put into building your credit under your ITIN could simply disappear, and you would have to start over. Do not let that happen to you. Now let me walk you through the most common mistakes that immigrants and students make, because knowing these mistakes ahead of time can save you years of frustration. The first and most dangerous mistake is missing even a single payment. I already told you that one late payment can drop your score by 80 to 100 points. But why does this happen to so many people? Usually because they set up a credit card, use it once or twice, and then forget about it. Or they do not realize that the minimum payment is due, not just when they feel like paying. The solution is simple. Set up autopay for at least the minimum amount due on every account you have. You can always pay more, but autopay makes sure you never miss the minimum and destroy your score over a simple oversight. The second mistake is applying for too many credit cards or loans in a short period of time. Every time you apply for new credit, the lender checks your credit report. This is called a hard inquiry, and it temporarily lowers your score by a few points. 1 or 2 is fine. But if you apply for 5 different credit cards in the same month because you got rejected by the first few, your score will keep dropping, and the rejections will keep coming. The solution is to be strategic. Start with one beginner-friendly card, build your history for 6 months to a year, and then apply for better products. The third mistake is maxing out your credit card. Even if you pay the full balance at the end of the month, if your balance is near your credit limit when the statement closes, that high utilization is what gets reported to the bureaus. And high utilization hurts your score even if you never pay interest. So always try to keep your balance low relative to your limit, ideally under 30% and even lower if possible. The fourth mistake, and this one is heartbreaking, is closing old credit accounts. People sometimes think that closing a credit card they do not use anymore is responsible behavior, but it can actually hurt your score because closing an account reduces your total available credit, which increases your utilization ratio. It also shortens your credit history. If you have an old account with no annual fee, just leave it open and use it occasionally for a small purchase. Now let me share the expert strategies, the insider moves that most people never figure out on their own. The fastest way to start building credit from zero is with a secured credit card. Here is how it works. You deposit your own money, let's say $200 or $300, with a bank, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. You then use the card for small everyday purchases like groceries or gas, and you pay the balance in full every single month. The bank reports your on-time payments to the credit bureaus, and your score starts to grow. It is simple, low risk, and it works. After 6 to 12 months of responsible use, many banks will upgrade you to a regular unsecured card and return your deposit. Another powerful strategy is to ask someone who trusts you, a family member, a close friend, to add you as an authorized user on their credit card. You do not even have to use the card. Just being listed as an authorized user means that their positive payment history on that card gets added to your credit report. If they have been paying on time for years, that history can give your score a significant boost almost overnight. A third strategy is called a credit builder loan. Some banks and credit unions offer these specifically to help people with no credit history. You apply for a small loan, but instead of getting the money up front, it goes into a savings account. You make monthly payments over a set period, usually 1 to 2 years, and those payments are reported to the credit bureaus. At the end, you get the money in the savings account. You have built credit and savings at the same time. It is a very smart move. And do not forget what I told you earlier about VantageScore 4.0. Sign up for a rent reporting service. There are platforms that will report your monthly rent payment to the credit bureaus on your behalf. Some of them are free or very low cost. This can be one of the easiest ways to start building your score, especially since you are likely already paying rent every month anyway. Now that payment can actually work for you. Let me also quickly talk about how a basic bank account fits into all of this, because many newcomers get confused about where to even start. When you first arrive, you need a checking account for day-to-day spending and a savings account to keep your money safe. Banks like Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo are large and widely accepted. But many immigrants find it easier to start with digital banks or credit unions that have more flexible requirements and fewer fees. Some digital banks do not require a credit check at all to open an account. Having a bank account is the foundation of everything else. You need it to apply for credit cards, to set up autopay, to receive your salary. Start there first. And one last thing before I wrap up. Your credit score is not just a number. In America, it is your financial reputation. It determines whether you can get the apartment you want, whether you can finance a car, whether a bank will give you a loan when you need it most, and eventually whether you can buy a home. The good news is that building credit is not complicated once you know the rules. Pay on time every single time. Keep your balances low. Start with a secured card or a credit builder loan. Report your rent if you can. Use your ITIN if you do not have an SSN yet. And if you later get an SSN, immediately contact all 3 bureaus to merge your history. The people who succeed financially in this country are not the ones who earn the most money. They are the ones who understand the system and play by its rules consistently. You now know the rules, so go start building. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who just moved here or is still confused about all of this. It could genuinely change their life. See you in the next one.